This is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rochelle.
And on this week's episode, I'm going to be doing glitches in the Matrix stories. And Rochelle is going to be talking about Georgia Tann.
Ooh, I'm excited. I feel like I've heard of Georgia Tann, but I can't remember. Does a girl disappear?
Kind of.
Okay. I'll have to see if I know it when you start telling it.
Okay.
And I'm interested to hear these glitches in the Matrix too, because sometimes I hear some and I'm like, no, that's real.
Yeah, I was really lazy because I went on vacation for a week and I really didn't want to research while I was gone. So I just kind of copied and pasted some stories from Reddit. And I haven't even read them yet.
Oh, that's a surprise for you too. That's fun. When in
we'll
doubt, like Reddit's got some good stuff.
Yeah, so I think I got them off of like a an article from BuzzFeed. So it was really fun. But yeah, so it'll be a surprise for me too. And I hope they're good. Okay, so I will just go ahead and
start. Let's do this. Let's see.
Yay.
So for those of you that don't know what a glitch in the Matrix is, glitch in the Matrix stories are firsthand accounts of some small but puzzling occurrences that have no logical explanations. The name comes from the movie The Matrix, where a glitch drew someone's attention to the fact that they were in a simulation. So
I remember watching The Matrix in high school philosophy.
Oh, nice. I first watched it at an Airbnb in Nova Scotia a few days before my wedding.
Ooh.
In a haunted house.
Ooh.
The house was
That's
so
cool.
creepy. It was so
Ooh.
creepy.
I heard a really good ghost story from work today.
Ooh.
So there was a couple that was staying there and they had stayed before and they were staying with friends in adjoining rooms, and in the morning, really early in the morning, the like woman from one of the couples was like knocking on the door of the other one. And she said when she opened the door, like the girl knocking was just like extremely distraught, like pale, and like she thought there was something wrong. And it turns out what happened is she had a purse that was like up on her. And it's one of those purses that had like a magnetic clasp, but on top of the magnetic clasp was like a fake buckle. And then in the morning she woke up and the purse was like open and the buckle was undone and the magnet wasn't undone.
Ew.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
And she was like thinking it was her husband. And because like he's a jokester and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking, like he no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
he's like, why would I touch your purse? Like, why would I think of doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
That's cool.
So this first story is from White Zombie Cat.
Okay.
And they said, oh, I have a story. One time my wife and I were coming back from a dinner night out. When I opened the door of the house, she was sitting at the computer working, as I usually find her when I get home. Nothing unusual, except she was entering the house with me. I shrugged it off and carried on. We went to bed and I told her that I saw her sitting at the computer, and she goes dead serious and told me that when I opened the door, she saw herself sitting at the computer working.
No. That's like that story I had a while back about like kissing the husband.
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
Isn't that creepy? I just like the fact that both of them experienced the same thing is just wild to me.
Yeah.
Ew.
He also goes,
my computer keeps like dinging. Stop that computer.
Oh, I don't hear anything. If it makes
me neither.
Okay, that's good.
He went on to say, creepiest thing I've ever experienced, the fact that our neighbor's 2-year-old daughter used to point to the TV when it was off and tell us that the person on the screen was making scary faces and that she wanted it to go away.
Ew.
Oh no. Oh,
that one.
TVs are so creepy.
Kind of like mirrors.
Yes.
It's kind of like the
Kids,
same thought. Yeah.
Ugh,
boy.
grotesque. All right. Mark of Shame says, driving home on a storm day. These are all verbatim, so this is not my grammar. Driving home on a storm day, I see that a side road up to the local golf course is blocked off by flashing barricades. I also spy a Mercedes parked past the barricades with its hazards on. I stop and walk up to the car to see if they need help because I'm an EMT. I shine my light in the back seat to see a man slumped over, apparently asleep. Thinking I've got a few drunks, I move up to the driver window and rap on the glass and shine my light in. The driver is sitting bolt upright, unmoving, staring straight ahead. My window wrapping or light doesn't cause him to blink, flinch, or move. I look over and the passenger is slumped forward onto the dash. This begins to creep me out, so I call down to the sheriff's station and request a code 2, which is no lights or sirens, unit to come up to my location to help me check them out. The doors were locked. While on the phone, I walk back to my truck and get my go bag. As I'm on the phone with dispatch, she asks me to get a license number for the car, just as PG&E, which is a power company, cherry picker truck comes rumbling down from up the road. I move to go around the truck to get the plate number, and the car is gone. I talked to the driver of the truck, and he said there was an 80-foot tree down across the road and that he didn't think it'd be open for a day or so. So the question is, where the hell did the car go? Tree up one way, barricades down the other. It's kept me a bit unsettled when stopping at accidents or hazards since.
That's cool. That's really creepy. That's like,
Yeah. And just like the fact that the driver was just sitting like bolt upright, not moving,
yeah,
and the passenger was
yeah,
slumped over the dash. It's just like, this is so creepy.
that's creepy.
Like
Yeah,
maybe it was just a ghost car.
Ew.
maybe.
Ashley comes back to ghost car.
Ew. Sorry, I thought my child was crying, but
Oh,
Cody was
that's
out there, so it's fine.
All right. These are creepy. I don't like them. Okay. The next one is from Oh Fail. Not creep.
Like his
Not
username.
I know. Their usernames are funny. Not creepy, but so vivid and distinct that I still think about it years later. I had a subjectively long, involved dream where I was a vendor in a fish market. I remember.
It's such a random dream.
I know.
I
Why is
was
it so
expecting a good nightmare, like a recurring.
I
mean,
know.
I don't know. This might be like.
I remember getting up early, dressing, doing a whole morning routine, going to get tea, heading out to the docks, buying fish, loading them in a cart, and going to get ice, then haggling for ice, buying some less fresh fish while I was at it, and then going to a market to my stall, setting up and selling fish all day. It was so real. I talked to friends, smoked nasty cigarettes, haggled customers, ate lunch, had tea, and just lived through the day. At the end of the day, I cleaned up, counted my cash, paid the stall rent, went home, cooked some of the fish I hadn't sold, sling with some veggies and rice that I traded for. I drank more tea, relaxed for a while, then drew a hot bath, soaked and smoked some more cigs, then went to bed.
What a dream.
That's a very lengthy,
Yeah.
detailed dream.
I've had something very similar to that happen to me.
Where you just
so
like
when I
dreamt
was-
about your day.
Yeah. So basically I had a friend visiting me when I was in university. So they were over at my dorm. And I dreamt that we had gotten up and that we had like gone out for, well, not like fancy breakfast or anything, but like gone to the Tim Hortons on campus or something like that, like walked around for a bit. And then like we were like waiting at the bus stop, and then all of a sudden I woke up. Like
Nice.
It was so weird. It was so weird because I was so convinced we were like
You're
halfway
there.
through the day.
Yeah. That's funny.
He goes on to say, the next morning I woke up refreshed, ready to go down to the docks to buy a fresh catch, except I was in my house next to my wife, truck parked outside, and it was Saturday. No work. My wife and I were getting geared up to go skiing in Oregon, and the car was already packed. Weird thing was, in the dream, I was single. And a smoker I am not.
Oh my goodness.
And the whole long dream had been in fluent Chinese.
What?
The effortless kind of fluency that only comes from a lifetime of speaking it. And I had been Chinese in the dream.
That's
But
weird.
I am a big, hairy white dude, somewhat fluent in Spanish, and I know a little bit of Russian, but it was just weird. I've never worked in a fish market.
Dude,
I
like
wonder-
straight up astral projected into like someone else.
Someone's life.
Yeah.
And not like a super like exciting life either.
I wonder
A
if that
fishmonger.
guy like lived his day.
That was cool. I get to go skiing. Whee! Oh, so funny. All right, the next one is boring psychopath. I was a kid and my mom and I were outside taking pictures of old cars to sell them in the backwoods area of our yard. All of a sudden, my mom hears rustling in the bush and she tells me to run. I had flip-flops on, so I kicked them off and booked it. Behind me, I didn't hear my mom, but I heard like a rusty clanking sound, like something jumped onto the cars. While running, I didn't see my mom. I got into the house, panicked, and there was my mom sitting at the table reading the paper. What the hell?
That's
And then
creepy.
there was an edit that said, I have went forward and asked my mom about this again. It's been many years and I am an adult now. When I asked her, she looked at me funny and said she didn't remember any of it at all, just the cars that were in the backyard that got sold. Yes, she's a skinwalker, alien, goat man, lesbian, twin sister. Interesting. The fish one is my favorite so far.
I know, I like the fish one.
This is from someone called Matix. And they said, my dad had this little toy monkey that he used to call his favorite child. Ew. and tease me and my siblings with it. Not in a bad way, but it was really frustrating to us. And we spent hours trying to steal it from him. Well,
I'm
so weird.
I can't handle that.
Anyways, one day we finally got it.
He called it his favorite child and would tease the other one.
What is happening?
We broke Rochelle.
Oh my god, I don't know what's so funny to me. I can't understand what life with siblings is like.
Yes.
Rochelle, are you an only child?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You're like life with siblings. I was like, oh,
Look at this.
what is that?
Rice
Ooh, what is
Krispie with
it?
chocolate.
Ooh.
Oh, yum. Yum, yum.
Oh my god. Who made? Well, sorry. I'm going away this weekend to a friend's. She's like my mom's age. I love her to bits. And
Aw.
I made my husband make Rice Krispies for me to bring.
Aw.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll see how the day goes. All right.
These
Sorry.
are so not what I was expecting at all, and I love it. I was like, I don't-
All right. One day they stole the monkey, okay? And we
Okay.
threw it into the garbage after drawing on it and mangling it for a bit. We and my dad laughed.
You're not the favorite child.
Anyway, so they all looked for it and searched for it, but basically figured we had thrown it out and gave up after a week or so. Anyways, a few years later, when I was about 17, I'm walking down the street in Toronto. I don't live in Toronto. I was just visiting friends. and see this little orange object on the side of the road. When I walk over to it, I pick it up and see that it was the exact same effing monkey. It even had the black Sharpie lines on it from when we drew all over it. I honestly cannot even come up with the chances of that happening, especially considering our garbage is sent to a local dump and is nowhere near Toronto.
That's crazy.
The author edited to note that they took it with them, killed it with fire, just that they knew it wouldn't come back again.
Wow.
So they killed that thing with fire. A little bit of Annabelle action there.
I love that. I still like in it as a whole, I like the fish story better, but like as an unexpected fun twist, that one was good. I like
that one was good, yes. All right. This one is from, I have a lot of these, so just tell me when to stop. This one is from Musical Moses. 10 years ago, I was returning home from a road trip with two friends. I received a phone call from my parents asking when we would be arriving.
Hold on. This is stupid. Is Musical Moses like the Walmart version of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat?
Maybe. I have no idea.
How's it going, Rochelle?
I'm just between the two of you. I don't know what to do right now.
Oh gosh, I loved it.
I had to get that out before it left my brain. Okay.
Loved it.
I have to make a mention. So, you know how there was like that 2-minute pause in our audio, in our recording?
Oh yeah, I took it out.
Yeah, Kyle thought we were having a moment of silence for the dead dog.
Oh. We should have. I should leave it. I'm gonna go put it back in.
Yeah, we did. Yes, that's exactly what we were doing. That's
He's
it.
like,
We were doing
you guys. He's like, you guys never said that you're having a moment of silence or anything, and it was just very silent for 2 minutes. He's like, knowing you guys, you would have a moment of silence for the dog. So,
that's great.
Yeah. Okay, back to Musical Moses.
Yeah. We're only like 10 minutes in. This episode is a hot mess already.
I blame you two.
No. This is your story. This is your problem.
Okay, I'm gonna start over. 10 years ago, I was returning home from a road trip with two friends. I received a phone call from my parents asking when we would be arriving, and I explained that we were about 25 minutes away. After a minute later, we came around a bend. It was a full moon, and we could see the reflection from a lake below us. And other than that, the road was completely empty. Suddenly, everything went completely dark in the car. No lights from the dash or gauges or headlights on the road. The music also stopped and restarted at the beginning of the CD we were listening to. Ew. There is now a vehicle pulled over by the police about a quarter of a mile in front of us that hadn't been there a split second before. I assumed I had dozed off for just a second as it was late. I thought it was... What?
Was he driving? I hope not.
No, I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. For some reason, I was picturing him driving, and then he said he dozed off, so that's why I laughed.
Oh no!
Like, I'm just gonna
take a little nap.
Control, take care of it.
Well, I don't know. I think like he was in the car with two of his friends. So
yeah, so he probably was. I was just picturing him driving, so that was like a. That's why I laughed at that.
I can imagine. I just like see this picture of somebody's like driving on the highway, and then they like pull a pillow out from behind them, like sleeps in the driver's seat.
Well, when I used to work my overnight shifts and then drive home, I would be really tired. Like, cause I'd be driving to Sault Ste. Marie, so it was like a 6-hour drive after working all night. And so to like wake myself up, I would do like I would close one eye and then squeeze it shut and like cover it with my hand and then like open it up and then squeeze shut the other eye, cover it with my hand and open it up and then feel more awake.
Were you trying to like half sleep?
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that.
It made me feel more awake. So I think it does work. All right. I thought it was still peculiar though about the car.
Mm-hmm.
After about a minute, the driver of the car turned the music all the way down and said, okay, yes, he wasn't driving.
Perfect.
And he said, did that just happen to anyone else? The other passenger in the back seat sat forward abruptly and exclaimed, I thought I just fell asleep. We then realized that the clock in the car was reading an hour later than it had just been a minute ago.
Oh no.
Yeah. To keep ourselves from freaking out, we decided that the car had possibly had a momentary electrical failure and reset the clock to an odd time. Okay. Turned off the dash lights, headlights, and gauges, and restarted the CD player. But when we arrived home 25 minutes later, we were 1 hour late. I am missing an hour of my life, and to this day, I have no idea how it happened.
That's creepy.
Aliens.
I'm thinking they got abducted.
Yeah, aliens.
Or they were driving at midnight on daylight savings time and the clock reset itself.
That too.
Yeah.
But the cars don't usually reset themselves.
Yeah, that's true. You usually have to reset your own car.
How old's the story? It might be like fancy.
Oh gosh, I have no idea. It was like a few years ago, I think.
Oh. Creepy. I think it was aliens, Rochelle.
I totally think it's aliens.
I agree, but like
I don't know. You came in with the daylight savings time. I think it's aliens.
Okay, I didn't want to come off as the weird one, but now that
you're like the textbook weird one.
Yeah, true.
All right. I don't know how to say this person's username, but I'm gonna butcher it anyways. Sekou ni happy.
Probably sounds right.
When I was about 15, I remember having a dream, but all it was black and talking. I remember hearing my mom saying, it's almost done. You're doing great. It's gone. But I didn't think anything of it. About 3 months later, my earrings got embedded inside my ears. Ugh.
Ugh.
And I had to go to the hospital to get them cut out. While there, they sprayed freeze spray. Oh God. Onto my ear. The spray went into my ear and obviously touched my eardrum, knocking me out, but I could still like hear things. While out, all I saw was black, and my mom said the exact same things to me that I had heard in my dream the few months before. No one believes me, but it was crazy.
That whole story sounds weird because how would the freeze hit your eardrum and not? That doesn't even make sense.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very weird. I have no idea.
Next.
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 Didn't like it.
Next. No, nothing can live up now. We've set the bar too high.
All
right. Kerwapple says, I remember being pretty young, like 9 or 10, and I was at the car park of a pub in England. I remember seeing someone in their teens in the window of a house looking over the car park. They waved at me. Gross. And I felt like I knew them somehow. My parents asked who I was waving at, and I said, just some lady in the window over there. Didn't think much of it. Fast forward 10 years. I was at my nan's new house, and I remember walking into her room, which I was never allowed to do, going to the window. I then realized I was in the house looking over that same parking lot, remembering that interaction years before. Then a girl around 9 or 10 who was in said car park waved at me, and I waved back. I felt like I knew her. Could not explain it, and I've never told anyone about it. It freaked me out.
Ew.
That is gross.
That is really creepy.
All right. The next one is from You're a Moron, but they spelled You're wrong.
Oh.
You do have a lot of these, wow.
I have 8 pages of these.
Oh my gosh.
So I said, stop me.
I don't know. Maybe do like half of them and then we'll do half another episode.
Oh, yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you're a moron. Okay.
No, you're a moron, Jessica.
Okay.
I did that at work today to the poor like cook. I thought it was my boss coming around the corner and I started to say something and I was like, oh, it's you.
Oh.
But it came out like, oh, it's you. Like,
Oh, no. Okay. I have a few, but this one stands out. I was catching a
Okay.
sky train in one particular city about 15 minutes from where I get off. While I wait there is a woman with glazed eyes asking people for money. She came up to me, stopped briefly, and asked, "Excuse me, could you spare some money? My brother is in the hospital and I'd like some money to buy him some flowers." And that's rich, I thought. Drug addicts are getting more and more obvious with their lines. Here's $5. Gave it to her without even asking, or gave it to her without even looking her in the face, convinced of her intentions. Anyways, my train pulls up and I get on. I look through the glass at her walking around asking others for money as the train pulls away. The train arrives at the station 15 minutes later, and I walk down and out to the bus stop. There's only one bus in the direction I'm going, and just my luck, it is there waiting when I get off the train. So on the bus, I hop and wait for the bus driver to finish reading his paper before the doors close, and we embark down the highway. About 5 to 10 minutes traveling, the driver pulls over for a routine stop. The doors open, and to my complete astonishment, the woman from the SkyTrain walks into the bus, a dozen roses in hand. She looks me right in the eyes as she walks past to take her seat. How in the blue hell did she get there? I took the train before her. I watched her at the train stop from inside as we pulled away. I went over a river. I caught the first and only bus going in this particular direction. And not only did she beat me there, she had time to go to a store and buy a dozen roses. To this day, I have no idea how this happened.
that's the witch from Snow White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's or the like witch from Sleeping Beauty. A lesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a Disney witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I got two more.
Okay.
This one is from Hold the Chimichanga. I died. I saw it. I lived it. Either it was another world with a version of me that died I saw, or I'm going crazy, but I died. We had a pep talk. Oh, God, not a pep talk. We had a pep rally in school. And after it was finished, we had to go back to class. Oh my God,
I have another dream where I woke up and it was I dreamt I was actually in history class. We were watching a movie and it was really boring. I fell asleep and I dreamt that we had like a whole assembly pep rally and everything. And in the middle of it, I woke up in history class. Like, could those dreams be any more mundane?
Yeah.
Like, just I dream about a normal existence.
All right. So after the pep rally, we had to go back to the class. Well, my friend and I were not into that. So we wanted to go across the street to Sonic. Across the school, there is not heavy traffic, but if you don't pay attention, you could get hit. Well, I remember walking with him and he dropped something. So I went across the street first. I just saw a red Tahoe coming straight for me and I got hit. I remember everything. I remember gasping for air. I remember waking up and sleeping again. And then nothing. All of a sudden, I was back in the stadium again and the exact same words came out of the principal's mouth. My friend wanted to go get Sonic, but I was freaking out, was asking him everything. I thought it had been a dream, so I went with him just to see what would happen. He dropped his stuff again and I waited. To my horror, the same red Tahoe showed up. I told him that I'm going back to school. I ain't dying again. And I can still see the other version of me on the street, just messed up, not even moving.
Oh,
Gross.
that's creepy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, one more.
Yes.
One more. I had this this from Genuine Information. I had this crazy vivid dream in 7th grade. I dreamt that there was a white van parked outside my house. A man got out, walked to my house, broke in, then went to my brother's room and killed him.
Ooh.
I woke up freaked out. It was 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I went into the kitchen and turned the light on. A few seconds later, the headlights on a white cargo van outside flipped on and it sped away.
It doesn't matter what's going on. If you wake up at 3 a.m., you just shut your eyes and go back to sleep. 3 a.m. is
Yeah.
not the good time to be waking up.
No. But I mean, at least them waking up like made that other person go away. Anyway, those are my stories.
I loved them. Those were fun.
That
I
was
think,
fun.
yeah, I
I
think
like
you're right, Rochelle. I think the fish story is my favorite.
Fish story was dope.
You know that other guy lived that guy's day and there's the same thing is happening out there. There's a podcast talking about it.
I love it so much.
Are you ready to hear about some exciting, exhilarating child death?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Disclaimer.
Child death.
Disclaimer. Yes, there are some deaths of multiple people, including children, in this story. So if that's something that you're sensitive to, or that's something that you're not in the headspace to listen to right now, don't listen to the rest of this episode.
Join us next week.
We'll see you next week. So this is Black Market Baby, the story of Georgia Tann. All right. Georgia Tann was 59 years old when she died at home from cancer, never having to face the music for her horrendous crimes.
Oh, no.
We start.
Okay, so I'm going to say off the bat,
Georgia.
I don't know this story because I was thinking of something
No?
totally different, so never mind.
Okay.
I don't either.
Georgia Tann was the daughter of a powerful judge in Mississippi. Oh, I should also mention this was a request from my mom.
Oh,
Who's reading a
Michelle's
book
mom.
about
Cheryl.
Yes. So Cheryl, love you. Thank you. Georgia Tann was the daughter of a powerful judge in Mississippi. And also, like, thanks for recommending the most gruesome, like, horrific story.
Moms are great for that, right?
Daughter of a powerful judge, typical Southern belle kind of girl. She believed the rich to be superior and the poor shouldn't have kids, especially if they can't be properly taken care of. After starting her career in Mississippi, she relocated upon being fired for removing impoverished children from their homes without reason. Yeah. Her father's connections made it possible for her to get a job at the Memphis branch of the Tennessee Home Society in 1922. Tann would take it upon herself to steal babies from their biological parents, sell them off to wealthy parents. She enlisted the help of her powerful connections and her father and was able to get away with it for 30 years.
Wait, I do know this story. Okay.
Yeah. Juvenile court judge Camille Kelly assisted Tann in her illegal operation by terminating parental rights and sending the children to Tann. The quote unquote boss of the political machine in Memphis, E.H. Crump, helped too by sending in people that would take Tann's side. He also helped change the law to make adoptions sealed. Crump's assistant city attorney, Abe Waldner,
Nailed it.
Abe, honest Abe, also served as not so honest Abe, also served as Tann's attorney and the attorney for the home. Tann and Walder refused to get the home license, saying they didn't need one.
Oh.
So this is a quote. If they had been licensed, they would have had to adhere to the $7 per adoption fee that was required by the state. They were getting up to They were getting up to $5,000 per adoption, and so everybody involved had to make money.
Wow.
So the adoption fee was $7, and they were making $5 off of a single adoption.
That's crazy.
Ugh. Creepy fact. In Abe Walder's writings, he often referred to the children as merchandise.
Ew. Hate that.
That's horrible. You can't talk about children like that.
That's awful.
Newborn babies were in high demand, and Tann would pay nurses and doctors at the maternity hospitals in exchange for their help. The nurses would tell new mothers that their babies died, and then they would give them to Tann.
That's horrific.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't say this was a fun one. The police department and other healthcare workers worked with Tann. Some even helped her. Tann would target state hospitals, prisons, and homes for unwed mothers. She would hire scouts to search and find children who'd be better off with her. She had an ideal type, too. She liked good-looking children that were healthy, white, and had blonde hair and blue eyes. Children were snatched. Children were snatched from their yards, houses, daycares, and churches.
Oh gosh.
Tann exploited vulnerable, desperate mothers. One of her tactics was to offer to get a child free medical care, but then charge the parents huge amounts. The parents would never see their kids again.
Oh.
Tann would also offer accommodation for children of desperate parents. Upon trying to collect the children, they'd be told that the welfare officers took them.
Oh.
Judge Kelly would be notified whenever a parent applied for care and would send a deputy to take the children out and award custody to Tann.
Oh.
Tann would even make fake birth certificates to make children seem more appealing.
Oh, superb.
She documented the children's ages as much younger than they actually were. This all made them hard to track. Some mothers under sedation were made to sign routine papers that were actually legal documents placing the baby up for adoption.
Oh gosh.
Could you even imagine?
No. When the children were stolen, Judge Kelly would sign legal papers saying they were abandoned.
Wow.
When the mothers were told their babies died, they'd sign away their parental rights, thinking it was a death certificate. Most adoptions were done out of New York and California. So Tann started running baby ads in the local newspaper. She would also give lectures promoting adoption. Few agencies adopted children to Jewish families, would rebrand a Christian-born child as one from a good Jewish family.
Wow.
So who's actually buying the kids? When wealthy parents were turned down by the usual adoption methods, they would go to Tann. Joan Crawford was one of them. Joan adopted her 4 children through other means, while her youngest twins came from Tann.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
New York Governor Herbert Lehman bought at least 2 babies from Tann. She placed no regard to whether children would be happy in their adoptive home. She waited to get her hands on every child she could.
Poor things.
Some of the older kids would be sold as farm hands or domestic workers. Young girls would be adopted by pedophiles.
Horrifying.
It gets worse. Tann would physically, emotionally, and sexually abuse the children living at the children's home.
Oh.
She would hit them on their heads so their hair hid any bruises, and she would tie their hands and hang them from coat racks.
Oh my gosh.
Madame LaLaurie all over again.
Right?
Tiny babies are kept in appalling conditions, some even being sedated until they were sold.
Oh,
Horrifying.
babies.
I should have probably thought I'm reading this to 2 mothers of babies.
Yeah.
Here's a great story.
Thanks, Cheryl. We hate it.
She would actually abuse the kids by presenting it to them as a favor.
Oh.
Back then, every boy in an orphanage was molested, one adoptee said.
Horrifying.
Can it get any worse?
Apparently.
I think you're going to say yes.
Yeah.
It absolutely can. If a baby were to be deemed not adoptable, or if they were sickly, had a congenital disability, Tann would send them to people who would kill them by intentionally starving them or leaving them out in the sun.
What? Not bringing them back to their parents.
Oh. She also wouldn't get medical attention for kids and would simply let nature take its course.
Oh gosh.
50 to 60 babies were killed by dysentery when Tann refused to separate the sick from the healthy during an outbreak.
Oh my goodness.
An estimated 500 to 600 children died in the care of the children's homes. This made Tennessee the state with the highest infant mortality rate.
Wow.
So what changed? By the 1940s, more people started becoming suspicious of Tann. When Judge Sam Bates learned that Tann was operating her business, he ordered the Child Welfare League to drop their endorsement. Tann had been destroying adoption paperwork. Judge Bates' concerns were ignored as Georgia Tann was known for her good deeds.
Mm.
Yeah.
Finally, in 1949, a thorough adoption bill was passed. In September of 1950, the Memphis Commercial Appeal printed an article stating an investigation on Tann had been opened.
Oh, good.
Governor Browning last night began an investigation of a reported $1 million black market $1 million black market in babies by the Shelby Country Division of the Tennessee's Children's Home Society.
Jeez.
The governor said he instituted the investigation after receiving numerous reports that the Memphis office of the children's agencies was selling babies for profit. Browning appointed state investigator Robert Taylor to investigate. Crump's power was diminished. Tann died from cancer, and Judge Kelly resigned. 3 days before her death, Browning held a press conference regarding Tann's corruption. In the 1950s, the Chattanooga Daily Times wrote about the investigation findings. Miss Tann placed more than 1,000 kids in New York and California, profiting through charging foster parents between $750 and $800 for travel expenses and investigation fees on each child. So the aftermath. Maybe I'll edit this so this one comes first and Jessica's fun one comes next. How does that sound?
No.
Many of the 5,000 children adopted from Georgia Tann never saw their families again. It wasn't until 1995 that the children had rights to their birth certificates and adoption records, and some found their birth mothers. The tragedy of it all is that the families have suffered needlessly, and neither Tann nor her co-conspirators ever received any consequences for the damage they inflicted. Most of the children who died in Tann's care are buried in unmarked graves in Elmwood Cemetery. So the ones that we know of are Rose Harvey and her son Onyx. Not all of these folks are dead. These are just people that we know were victims of her.
Gotcha.
Rose Harvey and her son Onyx, Debbie Birch, Alma Sipple and her daughter Irma, James and Thomas White, Mary Reed and her son Steve Parker, Jim Lambert, Billy Hale, Norma Sue and her 5 siblings.
Aww.
And then I have a survivor story.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Picks things up a little bit. It
Yeah.
had been 44 years since Alma Sipple had seen Georgia Tann, the nice woman who was supposed to bring her baby girl for a checkup at the hospital. Alma never saw her daughter again. She never lost the motivation behind finding her baby. She had to know she was alive. In December of 1989, Alma stumbled across an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. It wasn't something she'd usually watch. Glued to the TV screen, Alma watched the story of Georgia Tann unfold. Immediately, she recognized Tann and let out a scream, yelling, "That's the woman that took my Irma."
Oh.
The show is searching for parents whose children were taken and children who were taken so they could get them reconnected. Alma wrote in, and it led to her finally finding her daughter.
Oh.
In Tennessee, Denny Glad, the president of Right to Know, found the adoption papers, which had the names of Irma's birth parents. Unfortunately, the papers didn't say what state they were from.
Oh.
On July 27th, Alma called the search conductor looking for an update. He called back on August 3rd with her daughter's name, Sandra Kimbrell. Sandra was a nurse living in Cincinnati. She was baffled when a basket of flowers with the note, "Please call regarding family matters," was delivered to her at work.
Aww.
Sandra called the number, and the very next day, She had no idea she was calling her birth mother.
Aw.
When Alma heard Sandra's voicemail, she felt her blood pressure shoot up. She was scared.
Aw.
She had no idea how Sandra would react to the news. Sandra screamed into the phone when told she was talking to her birth mom. They talked for an hour. Sandra wanted to know everything about Alma. What the heck? Wanted to know everything about Alma. In the spring of 1946, Alma moved to Memphis. She'd been living with her lover for 2 years before giving birth to their daughter, Irma. In Memphis, Alma and her kids lived in a one-bedroom apartment. 6 weeks after moving, Tann arrived saying she was investigating an alleged child abuse case involving a neighbor. Tann returned the next day in a limo. After chatting again with Alma, Tann suggested she should get her daughter a medical checkup, saying the baby looks sick. Alma accepted her offer to take Irma to the hospital. Thinking she'd be going with them, Alma signed the paperwork. Alma went to the hospital the next day and saw Irma, but a nurse told her that the kids in Irma's ward belonged to the children's home, so they couldn't be hers. Days later, Tann told Alma her daughter had died. Tann told her that the state had taken the body, which made Alma desperate to find the grave, but she never did. Sandra knew she'd been adopted and always had a hunch that she was illegitimate. As of 1990, they still kept in contact. Alma still calls Sandra Irma. So, and then I have a book recommendation. This is the book my mom was reading that led her to.
Oh, okay.
So the book is called Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate.
Oh,
It's historical fiction. And it's based on the heartbreaking true scandal of Georgia Tann, a woman whose Memphis adoption center kidnapped and sold poor children to wealthy families. Before We Were Yours explores the lives of families generations apart that are connected by a heartbreaking thread of history and tragedy. So if you want something to read and you want to read more about that, check that out. And if you don't, I totally understand why.
yeah.
Oh, good
Oh,
story.
yeah.
Like horrible.
I mean, it was awful, but yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fun. I have a joke
or something.
Oh, yeah. What's your joke?
I have a joke. Okay.
Okay.
Imagine if you walked into a bar and there was a long line of people waiting to take a swing at you. That's the punchline.
Rochelle, do you get it?
I do. I get it.
Okay, I have one more since that story was awful. I can't take my dog to the pond anymore because the ducks keep attacking him. That's what I get for buying a purebred dog.
Purebred dog.
That's so stupid. I love it. Oh gosh. Well, if you want more great humor like that, you can find us lovely ladies at historiesandmysteries.ca. And we are also on TikTok doing lots of cool things. Our handle on there is Histories and Mysteries Pod. And we are also on Facebook. Our Facebook page and group is Histories and Mysteries. And
we're also on Instagram.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, where we don't really know Twitter yet, but
we're starting there.
It's there.
Yeah, if you're curious to see a mini tour of Fort Henry, go check out our TikTok. I posted a video yesterday when I was on my job. So
yay! Yeah.
And if you want to rate and review us, that would be super great. We would love it so much.
Yes, thank you. Please. Thank you, please. Thank you, please. Rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. We would really appreciate it. And we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week.
Bye.
Bye.